Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar about Rocket.Chat CTL. I'm Lucia from the Cloud team, and here with me is Aaron, Rocket.Chat lead cloud architect. Hey, Aaron.
Hey.
We're going to introduce this tool and show some use cases in a couple of demos. The presentation will be around 20 minutes and we'll leave some time for questions. Feel free to start writing them down in our webinar channel. You have the URL there in the slide. So what is Rocket.Chat CTL and what can you use it for? Basically, Rocket.Chat CTL is a command line tool written in Bash to help you install and configure a Rocket.Chat server in a Linux host. There are two aspects I would like to highlight about it. One is that once you have your Rocket.Chat server installed and running, you can use the same command to easily keep that Rocket.Chat server installation up to date. So Rocket.Chat CTL can check for Rocket.Chat updates available and update it to the latest release. The second aspect is that using Rocket.Chat CTL to install Rocket.Chat will take care of everything needed for the server to run. Meaning it will configure extra repositories and install the needed libraries to install the correct node version and Mongo server. And it will also set up the directories and permissions for you and configure the systemd files for all these new services. You can check our repo with the scripts there is in GitHub Rocket.Chat install.sh if you want to go. So here's a brief summary of the environment you will end up with in your server. These are our supported Linux distributions so far when using Rocket.Chat CTL. So we have Ubuntu 18 and 19, CentOS 7, and Debian 9. And these are the versions of Mongo and Null we are currently using, but of course this can change in the future. And as you can see, optionally, Rocket.Chat CTL will install and configure a load balancer or a web proxy with auto SSL provided by Let's Encrypt. Right now, you can choose between Kali or Traffic, and you will get the latest versions available for the one you choose. So to sum up, using the same command, you go from 0 to the full stack needed to have a Rocket.Chat server running in a production environment, and you can also keep it up to date. So before going to the demos we prepared, I would like to comment one more thing about some possible use cases where you can use this new installation method. So here are 3 examples. So probably if you're running many servers for testing features or anything that involves automation or a quick install in different platforms, or if you are using different releases, you could benefit from a single command install. Furthermore, we know lots of people in our community use Snap to manage the Rocket.Chat server installation and also updates. So we wanted to aim to make it possible to have like a similar managed installation experience, but taking into consideration that some users want more flexibility that they can't get from the Snap now, but certainly they can get from regular Linux installation. And also, maybe using Rocket.Chat CTL removes the burden of following our docs that sometimes are not up to date, or following any docs around on the internet on how to install Rocket.Chat in a Linux machine. And besides the Snap, we recently launched our one-click droplet Rocket.Chat server install in the DigitalOcean marketplace. So we think this tool fits there as well to keep your server up to date. Now let me show you the options you can use with Rocket.Chat CTL, and then we can jump to one installation, so to use the install option, basically. This slide shows the argument you can pass to Rocket.Chat CTL: install, update, check updates, upgrade, and of course you can find all these with the help command. So if I run this, I have rocketchatctl installed already in this machine. There you have like a small description of the tool, the options I showed you in the slide just now, and some flags that I will explain in the next slide. So hopefully this kind of give you like a general idea of when you need to use it. So back to the presentation. If you want to try it now, please run this command at the end. It's the same thing I'm going to do now. So when you, if you want to install Rocket.Chat, you can call directly this install message from our website. And what this do is just download rocketchatctl and save it in the user local bin directory in your host, and call the rocketchatctl with the install option. So let's look into another server that is a brand new server, so there's nothing previously installed here, and I configure like the DNS record pointing to this server public IP because I'm going to be using the auto SSL feature. So let me show you that this is an Ubuntu 18, so it's one of the supported versions for rocketchatctl, and Node is not installed there. Mongo is not installed there. So I'm going to write it, and as you can see, the installation by default runs interactive. So it will ask you for some information that is required to configure Rocket.Chat, like the server URL in this case. And if you're familiar with Rocket.Chat, you know this is the URL where the server will be accessible on the internet. So let's input that. And I have it written down here just in case. It also asks me if I want to have like a proxy, a web proxy, and in this case, I will select traffic. And since this can fetch the Let's Encrypt certificate, it's prompting for an email address for the certificate management. And since my name is kind of long, I also have this here. And this starts the installation. And this can take a while, so while we let this installation run, I can show you the flags I talked before. So these flags are for an unattended installation. Most of them are self-explanatory, like the root URL is the server URL we input before. The web server is like when I put traffic just now. The Let's Encrypt email is the email for the certificate management. And then in case you want to run Rocket.Chat server in another port, besides the port 3000, you can use the port flag. And the version flag is in case you want to install another Rocket.Chat release that is not the latest. And for the last two flags, install Node and use Mongo, we did this because we understand that some users could have already have Mongo or Node in their systems, or another web server running, and we wanted to make the tool usable for those cases too. So rocketchatctl install, we check for previously installed versions of Node and Mongo in your system. For Node, if the version running is not the one needed for Rocket.Chat, it will prompt for a confirmation in running npm install n and change your default system Node version to currently 8.11.4. So this can impact other things running in your server. So until you confirm, unless you confirm, the installation will not continue. So the install Node flag is to bypass that question, basically. And similar checks are performed for Mongo previously installed in your system. So if Mongo is installed and mmap is the configured storage engine and no authentication is enabled, then the installation will prompt for a question in case you want to use that Mongo server for your Rocket.Chat database. So they use Mongo flag answers to that question beforehand. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it's finished. And it looks like it's done. So, and let's try to access Rocket.Chat. As you can see, it redirects HTTP to HTTPS. I'm just going to use fake, my test and fake too. IDs here just to make this quick. And I'm here in my workspace. And as you can see, we have the latest version and Node is installed and Mongo too. So that went well. And now, and I can show you that Rocket.Chat will be in the /opt directory. That's where the Rocket.Chat installation is. Then here you can find like the Rocket.Chat database. And here is like the traffic configuration. And if you want to check, here's the key and the certificate for our domain and the email we select. Okay, so let's try running in this other server that is already have rocketchatctl installed. This one is CentOS and it has Node installed and Mongo. So if I do rocketchatctl install here, it would tell me like you already have Node installed. Do you want to make this version of Node your default one? So I can say yes. And then it also recognizes that I have Mongo installed. So it's telling me, do you want to use this server for your database? But I'm going to cancel this and let's run this unattended. So here what I'm saying is this is the root URL that I want to have. I don't want to install a web server. I'm going to use this Mongo server for my database. Yes, change my Node version. I want to install this Rocket.Chat server in port 4000 and the version will be 103. And hopefully this is faster because I'm not installing Mongo or not, or the web server. And let's take a look at the other options while this install. So we have install, update, check updates, and upgrade rocketchatctl. So update and check updates I will show you now when this installation finished, because we can update to the latest release in this last server from 103 to 121. And upgrade rocketchatctl, as you can imagine, what it does is download the latest version available in the repo. For rocketchatctl, it compares to the one you are currently running in your server and upgrade it in case it's needed. So keep an eye on that too, to be sure that you are running the last rocketchatctl. Let's see.
One of the cool things about this is using that you could actually maybe automate in the future updates. So if you want to have it on a set day of the week or set day of the month, you could potentially automate.
Yes, yes, you can be notified when these updates are ready, and also like Chrome, the update is true. So it looks like this finished too. Um, let's access this on port 4000 because so far I don't have a web server here. This is not secure, so one of the advantages of having traffic already installed is you don't have to worry about this. And here is to basketball player. And we see that the version is 103 in this case. It changed the node version that we need to run Rocket.Chat. And yeah, that's about it for this. So let's do rocketchatctl check for updates. And it's telling me I have one update available, so let's update. So basically, the update option creates a temporary backup directory with the current version running and download the latest Rocket.Chat release and start it. But it also checks if it's healthy querying the API. So in case something goes wrong in the startup process, the previously installed version from backup could be restored, and you would get like an error message that something went wrong. But in this case, this log lines that you are seeing like waiting for the server to be active is because we are querying the info API and waiting for it to respond to say that the update went successful. This can take a while because it's updating. So.
Yeah, one thing during updates is sometimes there are migrations that are run,
Exactly.
so it will occasionally take just a slight bit longer to update.
There it finished. Looks like, yeah. So it's updated to the latest version. So now if we go here and connect again, now we have the latest version. And yeah, that's about it for the demos. And now here, thanks for participating in the webinar. And if want to try it yourself, go ahead. There's the repository again, the link. And we hope you love using this new approach to manage your Rocket.Chat server installation. And if you have any questions or find bugs, head over to our install GitHub repository and let us know. So now I know maybe if anybody have any questions. Aaron, is there any question?
All right, so don't have any questions yet in the webinar channel.
Okay.
But I just kind of wanted to talk about, so this is actually using what we currently have in the manual installation, right? So this is doing all those things previously you had to go through one by one and
Yes.
perform the actions. Now you can do it just one single command. So managing your server is a lot easier
Yeah.
now. And also those options that you saw are probably just like a subset of what will eventually be there. As you guys start using it, we can start adding, based on your feedback, we can start adding additional commands, maybe automate some additional things. If bugs come up that we find like in the dependencies, we can kind of help mitigate those through this install script. So this is kind of a really powerful thing to do. Keep the power of a manual install, but with a little bit of automation to it. So it's really
Yes. Yes, please, if you have any suggestion, like if you want to, probably we'll be adding like being able to select a specific Mongo version, but more things like that are very welcome. to be added to the script.
And also, it's open source. So if you find something you want to add, you can you can go to our repo and actually open a pull request, and we definitely welcome those changes.
Okay.
Douglas sent a question in here. He says, "Is it possible to customize Rocket.Chat's code after you've installed with Rocket.Chat CTL?" So, so this actually uses our official releases, but with the apps framework, which we have a couple webinars about. You can customize. That's probably the easiest way to customize. Um, I don't know. Maybe in the future we could add an option to actually specify a URL
Yeah, I
to.
was thinking that it's possible to do that for sure.
But for now, it definitely installs the official releases and apps are our um, recommended way. We've got another question here. Looks like, does it work for the ARM architecture?
Not yet,
I
but
think this is one that we definitely will like. That's probably the next one we'll look at, especially ARM like
yes,
64.
yes,
Um, but I don't see any reason why not, right? Because it's just we've already got expertise doing it, so we can
yeah, yeah.
definitely.
It's just like tweaking some stuff.
Cool. Any other questions? Looks like we do not have any other questions. Any parting words, Lucia?
Sorry, what?
Any parting words for everybody?
No, I mean just try it, and I mean it's really easy to just execute. I'm going to go back to this command and start playing around with it and see if it's good for you and what you want for a rocket chat installation.
Maybe one last thing to point out is you can actually use this command and provide arguments. So you could actually install Rocket.Chat
Yes,
CTL and execute an automated install all
yes,
within the single command.
it's true. If you add minus s, you can pass all these same arguments to this script.
So this really opens up a lot of possibilities for automating a deployment. So it's really cool stuff.
Yeah, and with that, you always get the last Rocket Chat CTL version.
Right, right. Looks like we have maybe one more question typing. Ah, how much RAM and disk space approximately? Good question.
It's, it doesn't consume. It's just like the regular Linux command executed. So I was running this only in I think 1 GB of RAM.
Yeah,
These
so
two
this is
test
going to use
servers.
mmap. So this will use, it's using Mongo mmap running on the same server. So we'll use, you know, a little bit more than maybe the other storage engine for Mongo. But other than that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just plain vanilla Rocket Chat. And I think, yeah, a small server can run in 1 gig pretty easily.
Oh yeah, I was referring to running the script, but yes, of course, it depends
Yeah,
on the use that you will give it. But just to try it out, you can just try it in like a very small setup.
all right, awesome. I don't see any more questions. So I think with that, I think we have future webinars coming up. So if you visit the webinar section on our website, you can see upcoming webinars, and I think we also send those out on social media when we have those come up. So definitely, if you're interested, keep a lookout for those. But I think with that, thank you, Lucia. That was an
Okay.
excellent presentation,
Thank.
and we'll see you guys next time.
See you.
Bye.
Bye bye.